All right, good morning. So I'm live with, good morning, Richard. How you doing?
Good. Sorry, I just woke up. I rushed down here. I got up at 7:30. I usually get up a lot earlier.
Yeah, I always get up early, usually, almost always. So appreciate you taking the time to do this live stream. Things are moving really, really fast in Maine in a good sense, at least from what I can see from the good work that you do. You know, you work full time, 2 jobs, it seems like to me, because I know you have a in real life job, and then you post so much stuff on X and then on your new Facebook group that involves investigative journalism, really. I mean, getting people on the phone, reading articles, watching long YouTubes and videos, and then posting analysis, commentary. It's not like you're just reposting big accounts. You know, it's not like you're just finding main accounts that you would trust that you trust who have large followings and reposting them. You're actually doing content creation. So kudos to you. I don't know how you do it, but man, it's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I actually tried purposely not to post any content that's from a big source.
So we have another one joining us. So Paul Medor's joining us from Lewiston. Yeah.
I love Paul.
Hey, Richard, I got a burning question. Do I have to leave a tip when I leave?
hey, listen. Yeah, listen. Careful on the download there, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember that, Richard? Hey, buddy, careful on the download. You know, after that snide comment, I was going to go back and take my tip. I'm just kidding. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, man, like Michael just said, everything's moving so fast.
Yeah,
we have a short window. I think what it is everyone's feeling the election, the 2026 election is pretty much, that's in everyone's head, right? We have the largest Maine election that we've probably seen in our lifetimes because you have every big hitter. I mean, you have Paul LePage that's coming up here. You obviously have the Susan Collins battling the leftists, and then you have the governorship race, and then you have a lot of players on like state rep level that haven't publicly announced, but you guys are going to be going. You guys are going to be like, whoa, no way. Some of them don't want to do it, but we're trying to push them.
Here's what I think. Somebody has to set a new standard of what it's like to be a real, true, cold-blooded, warm-blooded American. Someone's got to set that standard. It's going to take someone who brings about a paradigm shift, who's a force of nature. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Well, and I think in a sense we saw that in spades twice since Charlie Kirk's murder. Once here in Maine on the night of Kirk's murder, when Tim gave that 4-minute speech to the Augusta School Board, and it went viral online. And then a week later, when Tim basically ran the Lincoln School Board meeting, the whole meeting, what we saw there
of that caliber, yeah.
What we saw there was this guy literally come out of the woods, literally, because he lives in the woods in a cabin,
Yeah.
and he came to these school board meetings, internet equipped, and he read these governmental bodies a riot act. Basically, he said, "You guys got to get your act together."
Well, they certainly noticed the cell phone.
Yeah,
right. They certainly noticed it. You know, can you imagine? Put yourself in that guy's head for a minute. This hick, Bodnar's a hick, shows up with a cowboy hat and a cell phone, and they say, "Oh shit," you know. I mean, that's a paradigm shift in and of itself. That's it right there.
Yeah,
don't you think, Richard?
Yeah, it is. It's long time ago. We realized that these school boards is where it's at. No one thought that school board videos would ever get any traction, right? No one did.
Mm-hmm.
Who would watch a school board? Yeah.
I never thought that, but I didn't. I got tired of going to them. Okay, before the internet, I got tired of going to them, and I didn't stop and think seriously about the dynamics of what it would be like to have the internet walk in right behind me.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. So I said to you, Paul, off camera this morning, I said, the biggest problem we face now in Maine and throughout the world, throughout the West especially, is the willful ignorance of what the internet is. It's a neutral technology. It's a neutral technology. And if you continue, you boomers especially, if you continue to be willfully ignorant of what the internet is.
That sounds personal.
Speak, Richard. Come to my defense.
No, you're 100% right. I actually just had with a young man yesterday. We had a huge long discussion about the internet, and he didn't. Everything that you said, you actually kind of unlocked this over a lot of. You haven't really gone in depth about this, but you keep bringing this up, and you're not wrong. And we've been all getting the internet wrong, all of us. And all it is, and people use this term, but when you really think about it, all the internet is a neural network. There is no tangible physical form in there. It is just a neutral tool to control the masses.
That's not how people see it. Listen, Richard, that's not how they see it.
Yeah.
And because you're dealing with a generation, I would think in part my generation, of people who are very self-conscious and are loaded with all kinds of self-imposed inhibitions and restrictions. And they don't want to be seen, unfortunately, for who they really are.
So listen. We've drawn the man of the hour himself, who just told me a minute ago that he's not ready for this.
Oh, he's ready for it.
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about me?
So here he comes. Let's give him an old school round of applause, a standing ovation. The truth slinger himself.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tim. Welcome, man.
Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
My ears were burning, guys, and you talked about a force of nature, and I said, all right, shit, I got to come on, right? Well, I was talking to Jen, and I came on because I wanted to talk to Paul Maduro. I'm like, I haven't actually ever knocked with you, right? So it's good to see
Tim.
you.
Greetings. My pleasure. My pleasure, Tim.
Thank you. Well, listen, I think that what we're dealing here with yesterday, I was talking to Jen, and I said, I think I figured this out. 2 weeks ago, I got filled with the Holy Spirit, and I'll tell you, I have to admit that for about 20 years, my faith was weak. And I got filled with the Holy Spirit about 2 weeks ago, and I became afraid of nothing, no one, and no man but God alone. And I can't explain that. I didn't do that inside myself. I didn't work on it. I didn't go off into a monastery somewhere and come out like that. I came out like that saying, I got like just a few years. I might not be able to draw breath tomorrow.
Well, that's it right there. But that's it, Tim, right there. Okay. You came face to face with reality that you've only got a few more years and you got to come clean. You got to tell the world what's on your mind and make a difference. I think that's fantastic. I wouldn't be talking to you if you hadn't said that.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it was. And I realized that everybody's got an agenda, guys. Everybody who's not where I'm at has their own personal sin.
What they want,
where I'm not at, they got a pension, they got a reputation, that policeman, that teacher, that board member.
Oh, those reputations! You got to save those.
Yes, everybody there is thinking about 6 different things at the same time. Guess what I'm thinking about? One thing, and that's my plan to get as much into everybody's stuff and break up these social conventions and teach people what they're allowed to do.
Yeah. Well, that's good for starters.
So for those who if you don't know Tim, you need to go to that Truth Singer X, and you need to spend just a little bit of time scrolling that feed. And one of the problems with this, Tim, is I learned from my son the other day that members of the public who haven't spun up an X account can't see your stuff. It's so censored. It's so censored.
I know.
And
is it
and
even on X? It's censored on X.
It's
Yeah.
age restricted, so that means you have to literally get an X account to view it. You have to sign up.
But it is free
Not
to
available
sign
to
up to
public.
X. Yeah, it is free to sign up to X. So if you do sign up to X, you can see everything. And I highly recommend you do that.
But Mike, excuse me, Mike, you said it was censored?
Oh yeah. Tim, you correct me if I'm wrong. It's not you who's making it unavailable. It's X that's doing that. Correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And there's probably some shadow banning going on too as well. Richard could probably speak to that better than I can.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you try to enter his name in, it wouldn't populate. I have to. It might be fixed now, but before there was actually a long period of time where you couldn't search for it.
Yeah, you got to get all the capital right and the lowercase right. Otherwise, I don't populate.
Yep.
So
folks, this is all on purpose. This is all being done to make sure that the truth, your individual truth, doesn't get out. Not just Tim's truth, but yours. Listen. You go on to whatever internet thing and you start speaking your mind, just your individual mind about politics and religion especially, you're going to run into trouble. You're going to almost immediately run into trouble. It almost doesn't matter what your opinion is. And you know that, and that's why you don't do it. It's because you're afraid of being censored. You're afraid of losing your job. I don't blame you. Right, Richard? I mean,
yeah.
It's
And I think that's why a lot of boomers don't go on there, because they've got an opinion that people have to hear, but they don't dare to do it. They don't want to be marginalized.
Richard, this is very timely and this is helpful. Speak real quick to what's spinning up in Southern Maine on Facebook.
You mean like with Lauren Southern? Lauren.
Yeah. Yes.
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 Well, I mean, you probably have to go back and mention like what happened. So she's actually a close friend of mine. I've known her husband for about maybe 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've been working on her for them for like 10 years, a decade.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good friends. And so one of my roles is what I've been trying to do, my agenda is to awaken champions, right? You can't do this alone. If you do this alone, you're going to get targeted and burnt out. So I've been finding different people. And what happened was that Tim actually did his video at the school board. And her and her husband love watching Tim's stuff on the school board. They love message me, but they're too afraid to talk about this stuff openly, right? Yeah. So then she messages Morgan and I, and she goes, "I'm going to go down. I'm going to go do a speech." I'm like, "Oh," and I go, "Shit, I have to work. I can't get down there." So I tell Morgan, I go, "Get down there, give her support. That place is going to be empty. Everyone in Southern Maine is so demoralized they don't even show up to these boards. The entire room is empty." So she did her speech. To make it short, everyone can watch the video. She was in ed tech, and she was working with
who is she?
Lauren Grenier.
Grenier. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll make it very brief. She was ed tech that was working with another female who presented as female, used female bathrooms, wore dresses, but wanted to be called Mr. and a male. And she works with special needs kids and special ed kids. They kept on getting this wrong all the time. They couldn't figure it out. This is elementary. This isn't like high school. These kids would be reprimanded and scolded day after day for calling it Miss whoever, right? And so Lauren went to her bosses and said, "This is insanity. It's confusing the kids. It's harming their development. They're being punished for misgendering this person. All they see is reality, and you're making them pretty much say these lies over and over again." So what happens is then suddenly she's getting targeted all throughout the school. The person that she's complaining about, she watches that person actually do a physical move that's illegal in the school or against policy. The person resigned due to that, but then Lauren thought things were going under, and they pull her in to actually get her pretty much a re-education camp where she's going to have to go through and get sensitivity training, learn how to gender people correctly, because while she was complaining about this person, she misgendered them to her bosses. Oh. So just if I was coming to you and saying, "Yeah, this person," and she kept saying "she," and then so what happens is they were more focused on punishing Lauren for misgendering her coworker who presents as a female than the kids that were being destroyed. So she goes and does her speech. No one there cares. She puts it up online. Tim inspired her, right? And just a note real quick. She went in there with 3 minutes. She first starts out and says, "I'm going to speak for the full 5 minutes of my speech because it's going to take me 5 minutes." And she tells them not to interrupt them. Then while she's doing it, she actually goes past 5 minutes. So she's already broken the rule. She hits the 5-minute mark and they try to shut her off. And she goes, no, I'm going to keep speaking. Thank you. And this is directly from Tim taking control, right? So then she goes and speaks for 9 minutes. And then this blows up. Like, so right now, think about it. This is Maine. She just on my one account, she's at 1/3 views. 1/3 views. Right? It's not as big as Tim's, but man, this is a school board, and this is one account. When I add up when I add up all the accounts, it's probably around 750,000. So then Southern Maine has a Facebook group that has the largest one is almost 30,000 members. People kept posting the video. The moderator said this video is not allowed here, and now this has set off a firestorm on social media that I found out today. They're like, wait, this is a public video, and this is news, and you guys let us post local news all the time. Why can't we share what this woman's saying? Is what she's saying not true? And they're like, no, it doesn't matter that's not true. It's just talking about things we don't want to talk about. Wow. And anyways, that's it. And so right now it's a set of – so Tim hit the domino. So if you picture all these dominoes, Tim pushed over a domino and it's going across the whole state. Right? And so my job has been – and so since the beginning, I've been telling Tim, interview these random people, talk to these people. My whole goal was we can't win this war without champions. Yeah. And one of the benefits of the right, one of the weaknesses of the right is that we move like stray cats. But our weakness is also our strength. So the goal is to encourage and awaken as many champions as possible.
Can't herd cats, dude. Can't herd cats.
No, but you can make generals and champions that actually take on their own causes and lead their own movement. And so my goal is to awaken as many champions as possible. And I ironically grew up with a lot of people that are really strong, but they're very, very they're timid and weak when it comes to like fighting back. But they're starting to wake up. I have so many close friends that believe what I believe in, but they're too afraid to speak up. But now they're starting to, and they're all in Southern Maine. I grew up where she is. Yeah. It's wild. It's awesome to see. Lauren coming out is bigger deal than most people realize because she represents.
I saw that video.
Yeah. She's not political. She's a normie.
I just stumbled across it. I had no idea who I was looking at.
Yeah, it's yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of the effect that's going on right now.
Well, and I want to say something, and because the people are going to say, "Oh, dude, you're what are you doing? You're stomping in there. You're making it all about you." No. This is what you're trying to say to make everybody think that this is all about ego. If you go back and watch Lincoln, every time someone else got up to stand to speak, I receded into the background. Every single time. And I will bet anybody on that if you go in and analyze that, because my goal was not to be the center of attention. My goal is to someday walk into the back of a school board meeting and sit in the back and just watch and report on it. That's what I want. That's the direction I want to go.
Well, it's the good cop, bad cop. Like you and Lauren's pairing is so amazing because they show the possibility of the explosive man that's coming in. Like if you don't fix this, there's something else that's waiting in the shadows, right? That if you don't fix this, this is lurking behind you. And then what Lauren would normally have been attacked as being transphobic, homophobic, all this stuff, right? Lauren looks so much like just a normal voice, like I'm being persecuted over here. And Tim is reminding society, this is what happens when social constructs break down. And if you guys don't fix it, there's men like me that will be coming forward to fix it for you, right? And that's important for people to see. That's what hit that. This is like a primal nerve that he hit, right? And
right.
People can't not look away. And that's why Tim hit 11 million views just on one school board, one school board in Maine.
And it's really important. And it's really important for the sake of the clock and time here with respect to the politics that are developing to understand that on Wednesday, Tim was forced by a Maine actor. I don't know if anybody wants to give his name out here. We're all, been kind of burned by this character. But Tim was forced by this character, this Maine actor, to appear in a number of tribunals in the state of Colorado.
Are you talking about Mr. Head? Richard Head?
Yeah, Richard Head.
Yeah, we call him Dick.
Yeah, Richard. Yeah, Dick. Yeah, we know Dick.
So on Wednesday.
Yeah, for Richard's benefit, it's Mr. Head. We call him Richard Head, but we have a name for him. It's called Dick Head.
So this guy texted me today or yesterday or whatever, chortling over what happened to you, Tim, on Wednesday. I know you're. I got
the same text. I got the same text.
Yeah, you don't have to. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. Huh?
I'm not going to talk about it, but to your point, Tim, I saw your video in Lincoln, but it's only because of what you said, not what you did. There's got to be content. So you got pissed, you ranted, not very long, and you said you're not gonna bring up that motion, are you? Because you're not gonna vote, are you? And of course there was a lot. You made a scene, and I think it's only relative to what you said. You gave it content. I think that's what's important. I don't think people don't want to be entertained. Otherwise, they'd sit there and they wouldn't care if you said a word.
Right.
But that's what, you know what I mean? All right.
You're absolutely right. Because the biggest applause line of the night was when I said, look, the guy can have his opinion on Charlie Kirk. He just can't have it, express it, and be around children on the taxpayer dime. You can't wish glee that someone else is dead and then have those people teaching the future generations to be soulless little suckers when they get up that don't care about human life, when they grow up. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. Right. So back to this point, again, Tim, just tell me to shut up if I need to stop talking about it. But it's really relevant to what we're talking about here because there's a big internet component to it. There's a big political component to it. We literally have a tranny health clinic in Gardner, Maine, because of the legalities that were spun up.
Well, in a nutshell, the facts are, we found out later, this is after the fact that we know and that we put this together, is that Hein contacted my estranged daughter who has parental alienation issues, who's hated me since 15. Weaponized her against me. She called 2 Gardner school board members, telling them I was dangerous, who thereby took out temporary restraining orders upon me. Then when those were completed, proved 6 weeks later, my daughter used those as a pretext to take out her own restraining order, being so afraid, right? She had to get Gardner first to trip. Now, Gardner, I was able to get thrown out of court. However, I missed 3 school board meetings in Gardner because of this. Now, in retrospect, my understanding, the sheriff wouldn't have arrested me if I would have gone in there, even though I had a TRO, because it's a public meeting and I can't interfere with that. But I was scared. I was literally afraid. Because I don't like going to jail. And that's why I don't like what these people do with the police when they bring the police into the school board meeting. It is automatically setting things off on an adversarial foot that says you people are to be feared and we're supposed to be afraid of you. And it just pisses me off. Martha did the same thing. Oh, Nick sat in my chair. Well, come on. You felt violated? What, you seriously felt raped? This world has turned into this snowflake bullshit. This whole thing that I'm doing over here in Colorado is over a tweet I made lamenting I would never see my grandson. Okay, that's it. And now, 6 months later, I've got a bench warrant on my head because I deleted 4 tweets they told me to delete, which I shouldn't have had to do, but I wanted it all to go away. And Richard put them back out there because that's the way the news works. So now I got a bench warrant on my head and they're trying to drag me to jail.
But you reposted it directly after.
I did repost it.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize you reposted it. So,
but I'm news.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll admit it right now. You reposted it and I said, well, it's already out there. And it kind of highlights the whole problem because guess what? Those 4 pieces of evidence she put into public record and Mike Hein can get them and post them and talk about me. But I'm going from talking about it, even though I'm the author.
Yeah, that is weird.
So to me, Tim, to boil it down, to distill it even further, this is about speech on the internet. So Nick is making a great point using the support of FIRE, this national group, heavy duty legal power. I mean, the big guns. We've brought in the aircraft carrier in Augusta, Maine, has been brought in to support Nick on the point of free speech. But your story about Gardner and about all this stuff that Heinz spun up is about, it's to distill it down to what it's really about. It's about speech on the internet.
And it is, and it's not about family drama. And if anybody mistakes,
no, it isn't.
Or family drama, I said it even in the hearing that I just posted yesterday, that I got audio of. Okay, this is all politics.
Sure.
Politics,
And those who are playing politics, they're going to be willing to conflate it so they can just get rid of you. And that's the way dickhead works. Listen, I've got to give you all the heads up. I've got to be at the doctor's in 20 minutes. But yeah. I wanted to say hi to everybody. Thanks for letting me on. Tim, nice meeting you.
Good
seeing you again. Listen, I'll take up a beer with you maybe in a few days. I'll go see you.
Yeah.
Great.
Up down.
Thanks.
All right. God bless you all. Mike, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Paul. Bye. So, so this issue of speech on the internet, Tim, is of critical importance. And as far as I'm concerned, you've played every stage, every step, every attack, and it's been thrown at you like I've never seen anything emotional like this and private like this. It's been thrown at you so fast and so furious and at such a deep level that I know your wife is legitimately troubled.
There's a shoebox full of this crap. Okay?
Yeah, but you've never shrinked. I mean, I was drawn into this at a personal level by Hein, because this guy worked for me for 6 years, and he was trying to draw me into his side of it when I met you, Tim. And he was pulling out the stops. I mean, he texted me today. He's not giving up. And I was forced to decide between you or him. You remember that, right? I sent an email to both of you, and I said, look, this is drama. I don't want to go here, blah, blah, blah. But then Hein wouldn't let up. He wouldn't let up. And then he just, when he got that email, he just blew up. I said, I'm not going to choose, because he was forcing me to choose between him and you.
Yeah, he's doing that with everybody.
With everybody.
Doing that with everybody.
And then I said, no, I'm not going there, Mike. I'm not doing that. And then, of course, for the next, I've gotten to know you. Then I got to meet you after that. And then I've gotten to really come to respect your courage, your intelligence, your ability to articulate your strategy. Like, for example, with Lincoln, you came right back instantly with a really helpful teaching on polemics, helping Maine people to understand what you're doing. So keep it up. Keep it up. And I'm so sorry you're having to live under that stupid bench warrant from Colorado, but I'm glad to hear that apparently it's not going to go anywhere, right?
I don't think so. I mean, based on the cost extraditing, it's not a violent felony, all that stuff. It's just a misdemeanor. Huh? Yeah. I called the sheriff. I talked to Lieutenant Tozer down at the sheriff's office, and he's a friend of mine. He's been delivering all these, not a friend, I mean, just I know him because he's been delivering all these papers. He meets me over this Cowhegan courthouse when I'm taking a TRO out on Mike Hine. And I mean, it's just, my life has been just nuts. But yeah, I mean, it's all about people don't understand that there are serious people doing seriously nefarious things. And now it's coming out, okay, because people like me all over starting to say enough is enough, and start to come out and do things, press things, say things. And I tell you, all you got to do is, if something, to figure out whether something is evil or not, is there a resistance to transparency? Is there a resistance to wanting to have it out in the open, right? And I just don't have any patience for anything that that people aren't willing to talk about too, And I think that we need a robust primary process. I don't think we need more niceness. Okay. Niceness is kind of what got us where we're at right now. It's the position that we're in, is being nice, backing up all the time. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's just time that people get a
Well-
little less manageable, wake up, get out of the matrix.
Well, you're absolutely right. And Richard, speak to this issue. I think my position is with regard to the upcoming elections at all levels, local, state, and the national representation level. There should be crowded primaries. There should be crowded primaries, and there should be crowded elections. For school board, for whatever, there should be crowded elections. Why do we put up with this idea that we're going to send someone onto the school board or send someone to the legislature after a process where basically money has been used to manipulate the field, to narrow the field down to just a few?
Yeah,
Richard,
I mean,
go ahead.
what exactly are you asking? Like,
Do you think we should have crowded elections?
as in like people,
Lots
coming
of
up
people,
to the debates
lots of
and
people
stuff?
running. Lots of people running.
I mean, that would have. I don't ever say what we ought to do, because really it's just the reality of what is going to happen. So
Yeah.
like we have a crowded governor run, right? But we don't have a crowded Senate run. So for me, I care more about like Graham Plattner is getting coverage from every media outlet. Last night they live streamed his speech, right?
Mhm.
And what they're doing is they're sucking all the attention over to the left. I care who runs, that matters, but I'm always focused on the left and trying to defeat the enemy. Then I'm like, okay, how do we get the attention back over to the right?
It's attention. See,
Yeah.
it's exactly it. Okay. And I sat at the doctor's office about a year ago, and I'm looking at this wall, and this wall is covered with flyers. Okay. And I just looked at it, and I didn't see the flyers. I saw all the noise. And I thought, if I put a flyer up there, it's like so much noise, you'll never see it. There's too much up there, right? So how in the world do you get the attention of people? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I seem to have been able to do that by a live stream on a microphone that they can't stop me. And that happens at every single school board by law, broadcast live to the world every time. And that includes town council meetings as well. I don't know, within a 2-hour drive of mine, I'm sure if I did the math, we're talking about, hundreds of microphones that are open between now and the election season. And not a one of them cost me the penny except the gasoline to get there. Okay. Now, I do agree personally. What I feel is like this whole idea, I mean, the first thing I said when I said I might want to run for governor, well, these people have war chests. I'm like, yeah, well, I got big balls. Well, I mean, what does that have to do with the price of meat in China, or why should it? Because it's the same social construct like I'm challenging in the Lincoln School Board meeting. Well, who the hell says you have to have a lot of money to run? Who?
Right.
Some guy got elected for $300 somewhere a year ago.
Right.
Me. Okay.
That's my point. That's my point. That's my point.
Yes. I'm like going, there's ways to
Well,
do this, guy.
and then there's hurdles, right? The biggest hurdle that Tim would have would be that the people that are probably 60 and older will never know his name or see a drop of his content.
Yeah. If I get on TV.
So if you can get on TV, that would get your name out there. But if they choose not to cover you, so like WGME and them, they're covering Graham Plattner. They're getting that into the household.
But I assure you, people, since I went to Augusta, people have told me, I don't even got the internets. I saw you on TV.
Yeah. It is true.
Commodore, what did he call me? A hick? We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah, right. That's right. We'll get him back on so that you guys can have a man-to-man.
But anyway, I didn't mean to derail the conversation. What we were talking about, possibilities.
Well,
right.
The point I'm trying. So, money's a thing, right? So if you decide to create an exploratory committee and then you decide to go on
already.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you decide to go on and declare formally your candidacy, money instantly becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Because like Richard said, you're going to have to come up with a strategy that's going to include getting to the boomers who are still watching television news.
Yeah.
But I would argue, Richard, that that as each day passes now, and I think it's accelerating, the internet is really starting to bite. The news center of shame and that whole paradigm. It's really starting to bite it big time.
The only way anyone's going to win on the right is, especially in Maine right now, is to counter what the left is doing. So I've been watching their strategy. They're creating a united front, and they're using Graham Plattner as the tip of the spear. So Graham's actually just running for Senate. Troy Jackson's running for governor, and he's actually in the tailwinds of Graham.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're creating a united front where you have Shenna Bellows, Hannah Pingree, and it's picture like a Triforce, right?
Yeah.
And we loosely have that, but we don't have it yet. So ours is, we have Paula Page coming up. That gets people excited. We have Susan Collins. No one's excited about that, but they're like, okay, it's better than nothing. We don't want Graham to win that. And then we don't know who's going to go for governor. So if you can picture a triangle, we see the face of Paula Page. Technically right now is the tip of the spear for our side. Not great, but that's what it is. On the left side is Susan Collins. She's riding the tailwind. And then we have the question mark on the other side of the triangle. In the middle is all the state reps that are running, or people running for Congress, like Eric Small for Congress.
All right. So let's put some people in your triangle.
Yeah, that's
Charles at the tip of the spear, and tell me what you think about that.
Well, so Bobby Charles hasn't. He would have to bypass the influence that like Paula Page has. I'm not sure, and if he does, he does. I just don't know. Right now, Maine is. We have to start. What I've been trying to do forever, for about maybe 6 months right now, is organize a town hall event every 2 months until the election season. There's been so much resist. Everyone wants to do their own thing. For 2 years, whatever I've been doing, everyone comes to me going, "Man, Richard, you're so right about all these things. Oh, hey, we need to make a Facebook group so we can get all this stuff out. It'll explode, and everyone on the internet will see it. And it'll change the landscape forever." Oh, I don't know. I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. Every step of the way, my strategies have been working. Or in the beginning, let's highlight the school boards. I need to start. The only way I can do this is start posting videos about this. This town hall is the only way that we can unite the right and have a united front. We need people to physically get in the same space.
Yeah.
Everyone running for different things, and find different roles for everyone. So the thing is, everyone's just sitting here watching on the internet. The internet does not equate to winning elections. It doesn't. It gets your name out. So what the internet is, picture it as a sign, right? So people are driving by and they see Tim Bodner's name or they see Bobby Charles' name. The internet is just a million signs. So now people know the name, but do they want to vote for the person?
Right.
Just because someone's popular or that everyone knows the name doesn't mean they're going to vote for them. It also doesn't mean the right has a united front. So the left, what they're going to do is they're going to create a united front, and they're going to say, vote down the line here. This is who you're voting for. This is how we actually capture Maine. We have to do a similar thing. Otherwise, we will actually become a blue-controlled state. That's
Everything,
the only option.
Everything you say makes perfect sense in terms of warfare, and politics is war without bullets. And so what do I mean by that? If you're at war is between you and one other foe. And because by definition, a war leads to a surrender.
Yep.
So what do you have to do if you're in a war? You have to identify your enemy, and you have to defeat them. And you've only got one enemy. And that's now what I'm learning listening to you, Richard, is that you are seeing evidence that the left is already doing that. They are.
Well, Tim and I watched we sat there and listened to a whole Graham Plattner thing on Zoom. Yeah. What they specifically said is that the first step, what is their first step? Their first step isn't even the freaking governorship run or the Senate race. Their first step is to unite across the board and get people to vote no on one, the voter ID, right? So right. He's actually, and this was genius on their part, everyone on the right needs to say, we don't even care about the election for 2026. We're uniting to get people to vote no on, yes on one, no on two. And they should all be unified on this, and they're not. Some of them aren't doing it because Laurel Libby's the one who did the voter ID thing. There's all this politics or infighting and stuff. No one's and so what's going to happen is that if we're not a united front, we don't win this. There's no possible.
Here's the way I see it. Okay. And I'm strategizing, I'm praying, I'm thinking about this stuff. So I'm looking at personally, if I were to do this, how would I go about doing this? Right. And personally, I think that there is an energy or whatever you guys want to call it that I tapped into, the rising Maine man, the one that's tired, the one that might just finally open his mouth. Okay. Maybe just come out to vote, contact those people, get with those people like 3 minutes at a time. Right through those internets, and those will get out on the TV. It's going to get to a point where there's so much stuff going on that they can't not cover it on the TV. And then from the governor's race, okay, is to be able to take out Graham Plattner, the fake man, the paper man.
But
okay?
it can only be done if it's a united right. Because here's the thing: is
it has to be, and they have to be. They have to all come together at one point and go, all right, this guy's our champion. And I don't know if that's going to ever be the case. I have no idea, guys. I'm testing the waters here. I put my pin in. I'm exploring and I'm listening and I'm seeing what's going on. This is going to have a lot to do with personnel. If I advertise out there and God doesn't bring me the people I need, okay, to be able to pull this off from finance standpoint and from a campaign manager standpoint, then I won't be able to do it. I just can't do that alone. But if we can get it, and then once the governorship is in, that governor can have, depending on the charisma factor of the person in that seat and what their agenda and motivation is, can help moderate the Susan Collins we all have to live with, which is our best choice.
So here's what I see. 40 years in watching Maine politics. The Democrats have always they've always been worlds apart when it comes to the process that leads to the selection of their leadership at every level. They've got a reputation for, and they have actually done this, of running lots of people at the right time, which is during the primaries. And then once so in terms of the governor's race, there's a primary, and it happens in June. There's a vote. And what I've seen throughout my whole career in Maine, going back 4 decades in politics, is you're more likely to see a bunch of Democrats in a primary. You're more likely to see a bunch of Democrats arguing with one another until the primary. And then when the primary vote is taken, the Democrats are able to discipline the party structure so that they unify behind whoever they selected in the primary. And the Republicans have never... Number one, what I've seen develop in recent years is they use money and power to manipulate the primary process and turn it into one guy. And the argument that they make is that we're saving money. They did this with me in the last gubernatorial primary. We're saving money for the general because we don't have enough money for the general. And okay, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I guarantee you this: if you don't give grassroots activists an opportunity to learn something and choose from among a variety with under the umbrella of right of center during the primary, when it's early, when we haven't reached that moment in the fall when all the chips are on the table, if you don't energize the grassroots with choices and you pretend that you're going to give them a winning choice, which is what the Republican Party did with Paul, I call him Paul turned the page in the last gubernatorial race, then guess what happens in the general? I don't care who it is. Paul LePage is the most popular Republican in Maine today. And he just ran for governor
and lost
as the coronated king of the Republican Party, literally coronated. And he lost. He wasn't even close.
They didn't even try. They didn't even try.
Right. So what are we setting ourselves up for here?
Well, that's why it's not our job to do it, right? If we get stuck in the waters of this for 12 months and we dedicate all our energy and nothing comes from it, you just wasted an entire year of the most critical time period.
Yeah. Well, I think
people get sucked into it. It's like a black hole. You've seen this, Michael. How many times have you been sucked into this and with zero outcome?
Oh yeah.
How much energy, time? and then you tell everyone, come follow behind me, and then what happens when you fail? They all abandon you. They'll never listen to you. They'll never ever listen to you.
That's why the Republican Party now. That's why the Republican Party now is really only about money.
Yeah.
Big checks, big money. It's not about the working class Mainer who wants to spend invest a sliver of his life into either voting or helping a guy like Tim or Charles or whoever it is. That's why they're not doing it anymore. They're not there. Outside of the dinner table group, which I just learned it takes $250 a quarter to be part of, and which basically energizes the moral. Let me get my both quote fingers in here. The moral heart of the Republican Party, of right of center politics in Maine, is the dinner table group, which is the moral voice of the right of center thing. And it costs $250 a quarter to participate in that. And all of their meetings happen in small evangelical churches, apparently statewide.
I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to the dinner table. I actually talked about it, a year and a half ago when we started getting into this political thing, And the funny part is, up until about 2 weeks ago, I put out a post that said, you know what? I'm not gonna. It almost doesn't matter at this point. I've lost so much faith in politicians. They say one thing, they say all these things, they give all these speeches, and then nothing. And I'm like, I'd much rather maybe spend my time on the school boards. The only reason I'm even entertaining doing the governor thing is that I think I can do the school board thing exactly the way I was going to do it. As a matter of fact, maybe even better in the process of running for governor. But the school board thing for me is where change is made. We're gonna get back generation who's going to eventually be in the legislature.
Well, here's what in my opinion, here's what the primary season for the Republican Party needs to look like. And if it doesn't look like this, we are not going to get the governorship. We might lose some other races. Paul LePage will probably lose again in that second district race. If this doesn't happen, what am I saying? What needs to happen between now and that primary vote? We need a vigorous, energized, public conversation that's internet-centric, internet-based, that Tim has developed a vibe on X. That vibe has got to be duplicated, and it has got to emerge all over the platforms on the internet in Maine. The vibe that Tim has created using his morning show and his X scroll, his X feed. It's instant, it's authentic, it's real. Tim's not hiding behind some kind of PR firm, putting out puff posts about how I like the wallpaper on my house today, and I hope you enjoy your coffee this morning, and all that kind of stuff. People are sick of that. They know it's coming. It's spam, for God's sakes. They know it's coming from a PR firm or an intern. They want something gritty, something real, something authentic, something they don't have to wonder whether it's AI or not because it's post-produced. And that's what Tim serves up every single day. Everybody needs to serve that up. Bobby Charles, serve it up, man.
But the internet's weird. You have to. It's because of people. You're trying to get people's attention. If you do the same thing over and over again, it loses value every single time. It really does. You can come up with the best move, and then after the third or fourth time, everyone's seen it. They're already moving on. No one's sharing it. No one's watching it. You use it like a tool, and you don't beat it like a dead horse. So like you'll go, okay, it's losing steam. Now let's pivot to the other strategy. Now that's losing steam. You can't just be like, I'm going to go do this one thing. Oh, that's Nick's folly. Nick will get. Nick,
I can't. The same thing that Jennifer talked about is this can't be a rage campaign.
Right. Well, no, it can't be.
If I keep doing the same thing 3, 4, 5 times in a row, people are going to go, all right, tune it out. But that's right. All I was trying to do was that's the opening volley, guys. That was to get people's attention. Now that we've got attention, when I walk back into Lincoln, it's like they're going to go, everybody's going to be like the whole power dynamic is now completely shifted. Yeah. Right.
Do you know, when do they vote on the teacher?
They have schedule a special meeting. They cannot do any business outside of meetings in a school board meeting. So if they adjourn, they recess, they run out, they're not allowed to even email each other about it, which is why I put in a FOIA for all communications between the Lincoln Town Council, the school district, RSU 67, and the police. Because
no, but when did they say when they're going to vote on it, or is it just
no? They have not said when they're going to vote on it. They didn't say if they're going to vote on it or make a decision for that matter. My understanding, he's still on suspension.
Okay, so Kenny Bunk, they just reversed it and allow the people keep their job. We're now seeing the pushback from the left, where they're actually just now taking a stand and blocking all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we're all fighting with this, you have Graham Plattner they actually did a live WGME town hall meeting, right? Like, this is why our side needs a town hall meeting, because the media, if they don't cover it, they're going to be attacked for not, because what the media is going to frame it this way, and they're already being called out. People are saying, oh, how come you're covering Graham Plattner's live school town hall meeting, right? And you're not covering other people. What did WGME and the Maine public say? They responded to people in the comments. They said, because you guys aren't hosting any. Yep. I'm not wrong. Like, if we don't do these live meetings, they can actually just sit there and cover them, and they never have to cover our stuff. Tim can get eyes from the school board stuff, but the other candidates will never, ever get coverage. No one will even know that they're running at all. They don't exist to the older people. We have the oldest state in America. If we don't have vibrant debates and town hall meetings where people are sitting there and people are like, even if they're rough and they're yelling and they're arguing, if we don't have something like that, no one's even going to know that the right is trying to fight.
Yes, and that's why I want to start the Polemic Society of Maine. That's maybe quarterly. That's maybe an answer to the dinner table. That is a place where candidates can come.
So let me ask you this:
we can put them through the mill.
Why is everyone so oppositional to having a town hall meeting in Augusta at the Elks, which is inexpensive? Everyone knows where it is, every 2 months, until that allows everyone to go there and have the debates.
To that,
man, nonstop.
I'm not against it. I think it needs to be complemented. So that the way I see that is that's the IRL, the in real life version of what every single aspirant for a school board seat or up, city council, state legislature, up to national, needs to start doing. And what is that? So there's the IRL side, which is internet language for in real life, which is what you're talking about, Richard, which I think
no. I mean, you're combining the two. What I've been saying this whole time, what we have to do, Graham Plattner just did last night, right? So what I've been trying to tell our side, he hasn't done this yet until last night. Graham Plattner did a town hall where it was in person and it was streamed live simultaneously, so people could communicate in the chat. They could send the links in real time.
Oh, good. Okay. I never heard you say that. So you want it to be live streamed?
All of our events should be live streamed. It's just that no one does it. Right.
Nope.
Like, I actually think everything should be live streamed when we do events. Yeah. But it just no one has it. No one does it. That's the whole.
Well, that's the point I was trying to get to is that it because of the power of the internet now, and because of the receding power of mainstream media, it's still there. We all kind of on the internet, we all dismiss it, but it's still very powerful, especially in Maine because of the age of the average age of our citizens. So we got to do both. We got to do the in real life and we got to do the live streaming. And so, yeah, I'm with you 1,000,000%. I'd love to see that happen.
And legally, they have to cover our town halls because if they show that they're giving one side too much coverage because they're public airwaves. So, and that was the issue that Trump had with Kamal and they did the lawsuits. But right now, Graham and them are allowed to actually get coverage and they don't have to cover ours because we're not putting it on. We're literally shooting ourselves in the foot with this. So our side, we're either one of two things. We're either extremely vibrant with no direction or systems that are modernized, or we're extremely boomerish and we don't do anything. That's what like the typical GOP is, right?
Yeah.
And the left right now in Maine is organizing and actually gathering at center mass to do this. So they're actually they're doing all the correct moves that I keep telling our side that we need to do. And they're going to steamroll us. If we end up losing Maine, then forget the school boards. Nothing will matter. If they solidify and create a unified party that structure, it doesn't matter how many school boards you yell at, they're just going to comply with the state of Maine, right? You might as well pack up your bags and move to Florida at that point. If we don't have some sort of power structure that gets in on 2026, everything we've been doing and everything we've been bitching about and complaining about, saying we got to turn Maine red, we got to change this, blah, 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 blah. It all goes away if we lose this, right? Because no one's going to follow us. That means we failed as leaders if we don't get this right. And it's more than just talk. It's actually organizing and just getting these things together. And it has to be united, it has to be a united front.
My podcast is going to have a limited lifespan, right? My political career.
Well, no.
Or not, because in about 12 months, when the Democrats all get elected, may as well just go do something else.
No. But no. Let me explain though. Mike Heath knows this. If you get everyone worked up, and for 2 years you're saying we got to turn Maine red, we got to turn Maine red. This is the biggest thing that's important. Look at what the Democrats are doing, and then 2026 comes up, right? Like the biggest election of our time, and we're all just kind of like, you can't. And then people are gonna be like, well, what the fuck are you doing? And the reason that Maine got so demoralized is because this is what happened with the previous GOP people, right? Mike Heath can attest to this. Everyone goes, GOP are spineless, they don't attack. So if we fail on doing this 2026 thing, we lose 3/4 of our base. No one will interact with us because they won't. Mike Heath has seen it, right? If you sit there, we get their attention. We're saying, follow us. We are the leaders. We're going to get this done. If we fail, nobody's tuning into anything we say. Nothing. It's over.
I agree. Yeah, completely.
It will be.
And over. I think the odds right now are against us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll tell you why they are, Michael, is because the GOP is scared shitless of me.
Right.
Okay. They're scared to talk to me. They're scared to work with me. Okay.
No, that's not entirely true. Actually, a lot of them wanted to work with you. They've reached out, and then you posted stuff attacking their character. So like with Bobby Charles, you shared something saying that he was a fraud and a phony. Bobby Charles' campaign wanted to work directly with you, and you know that's a fact. I got wind of this. I sent it to Tim, and I said, "Hey, they want to." But then simultaneously that day, you reshared something calling him a fraud. What if Bobby Charles posted something saying, "Tim, you're a fraud"? Would you be like, "Hey, buddy, well, we work together"? No, you literally attacked them directly.
But you say, "What if?" Well, okay, what if? The answer to that is, I will come out and I will say, "Yeah, okay, wait a minute."
But you posted something without proof. You literally did what the left does. You slandered his character.
Yeah. Look, I understand what you're saying, and I.
But what proof do you have that he's a fraud?
It was an opinion, okay, and here's the thing I have to deal with. If I thought about working with Bobby Charles, the amount of grief, I don't have how much of an idea how much of my base that people that are listening to me would leave.
The criticism of the people that follow us said Tim posted something calling him a fraud. He posted it, he shared it from someone else, yes, but without proof. How is he a fraud? Right? This would be akin to someone posting something saying that Tim is a pedophile, and then they have no proof. People would be like, dude, you can't post this about someone, especially if they're on your own side. It's not as egregious as that, but calling someone a fraud that is on our side that could actually detrimentally pull votes from him if he is the front runner, that's not a good move. And I only look at things strategically. I don't care about. I have no emotional attachment to him.
Right. So, but here we are, right? Trump is now elevated above Jesus Christ himself by this same side of politics. And here we are right now arguing over literally nothing, something much milder than what Donald Trump does every single day on Truth Social, which is insult his own side, and his own side loves it. So what's the answer? Well, let me finish. So what's the answer here? So Tim called him a fraud. Okay, so Tim doesn't maybe have the proof. So he says it's an opinion. So then Tim decides, well, Charles, he's in there, spent a lot of money, he's doing all this stuff. So I apologize, and then we move on.
But look at a guy, Nick Blanchard. He openly went out and attacked Laura Levine nonstop, right? He closed every single political door in that sphere. You could say, well, it doesn't really matter. She's worthless, but she's not. She's actually just looking at this strategically. Nick shot himself in the foot by constantly attacking her while she was actually being victimized by the left. You look at that and you go, I don't want that guy as my. And yes, he was able to actually rebound from it, but people remember that if you don't comply to this person's will, that they will actually attack you online unfairly. And no one forgets this. The number one thing that gets brought up about Nick is Nick going online saying she's a fraud, she's a phony, she's not a real Christian. She didn't want me to wear my MAGA hat. And it's like, okay, yeah, those things are true, but if you don't adhere to his will, then I'm going to publicly go and attack you online, right?
But at the same time, Donald Trump is going to save the universe, and that's exactly his style, exactly that. So on the same side of politics, you got Trump, the savior, better than Jesus Christ, and you got all the working man Republicans quibbling over moral purity.
But this is where Nick and Tim are right, though. This is where it gets complicated, is that they have to be okay with harsher language, and they need to not be so scared. So at one point, we have to be careful not to. You can attack someone's policy, right? But if you don't want to slander someone, so like if let's just say Bobby Charles, like when Tim called out Bobby Charles's campaign as looking kind of like phony, 100% spot on, nothing wrong with that, because you're criticizing an action. But if you call someone if you label them something, that's different. That would be like me going to someone, and that's like, okay, so I don't attack people's identities. I attack the leftist policies. So I don't look at some school board member and go, you're fat, right? Like, you're fat, you're fat. Because what you're doing is you're driving everyone from your side that are fat away from your side. But you know what I mean? And so if you're attacking someone's characteristic or you slander them, you're actually getting people to move away rather than being able to correct because how do you correct that? You're putting them in a position where they can't correct themselves. If I say you're a fraud, that's just pure attack that you cannot correct. I can't correct that. Let's just say someone called me a fraud. What do I do with that? All you're doing is attacking me, and there's no recourse for me to correct my action. If you said, hey, this action you did looks fake and phony, yes, I can correct that and say, where can I readjust?
The point you're making, Richard, was made ad nauseum when I was fighting to keep sexual orientation out of the Human Rights Act. And as the years passed, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until we lost. And the reason we lost, because we spent all of our time trying to prove who was more perfect than the other one. And you prove your perfection, you prove your moral perfection by developing this highly skilled ability to not be personal while you're being political. Mm-hmm. And it's literally impossible to do. It's literally impossible. If we're going to do what you want to do in 2026, then we're going to say to Bobby, and we're going to say to Laurel, and we're going to say to Tim, you guys speak your speech, you speak your emotions, and if you go too far, you be willing to apologize. You be willing to apologize and move on. But you speak what you're feeling, you speak what you know, and that's what we need to see. For the first time in my lifetime, right of center. I've never seen that.
I'll get off right now after this program. Okay. And based on this conversation, I feel convicted, and I will go on and I will make a public apology to Bobby Charles. No problem. I don't have any problem doing that, because you know what? I'm new at this and I'm frustrated, and people are frustrated. And when people don't want to talk to me, okay, and I'm going, I want to talk to the candidates. I have a podcast, and they're ignoring me and they're shutting me off because Heinz been running around giving everybody a earful. I finally said, what the hell do I have to do to get somebody's attention?
Right. Exactly.
But the Nick move doesn't work. Like Nick called out Laurel Libby thinking that, like, hey, if I attack her online so much, she'll be forced to listen to
engage.
Me. All that he's done is ensured that nobody will ever listen to him again when it comes to those fears. But here's the thing: is like, just honest question. Why did you think that Bobby was a fraud? What did he do that made you think he was a fraud?
I didn't. I'll clarify that right off the bat. However, the reason I reposted it is simply because there are people that are talking to me. Okay. Yes. From an anonymous account. Yes. I get it.
What if someone messaged me and said Tim's a pedophile and beats his kids? And I repost
it. Happens. It's happening all the time. Okay. I mean, just look at Mike Hine, the list of stuff. Okay. I'm an alcoholic, coke snorter.
It's hard because when they lie or attack you, you don't have a way to to prove that you didn't do it, right?
No, you don't.
It would be like Bobby Charles would be like, yeah, they're calling me a fraud. I don't know what to do with that.
Right.
This guy, Tim Truthsinger, is calling me a fraud. One of the biggest podcasters in Maine. Imagine that you're sitting there going, I'm trying to run for governor, and one of the biggest people and influencers are calling me a fraud. Like, what do you do with that? Like, you know,
a fraud. Let's get that clear one more time, Richard. Yeah. I reposted someone else's opinion from an anonymous account that perhaps I shouldn't have, because I should have monitored their speech. Okay.
Well,
and said that was ad hominem. Okay.
No.
Hominem is.
No. You can repost it and say, how is he a fraud?
Okay, sure. Yes, right. I agree. Right.
Let's see the proof.
Matters. Right.
The reason that this
and
is
the other
touchy,
thing, and the other thing that that I want in a governor is if it's a guy like Tim, and he's a citizen of Maine, and he's a podcaster, and he's got some people listening to him. Shoot, even if it's just a nobody in Maine, just a citizen, a voter, whatever. And it gets back to me that I'm a fraud from this. If I've got time, right? If I've got time, that's a big issue. If you're governor, but what's wrong with picking up the phone, or what's wrong? You know, well, hey man, I'm a fraud.
So imagine let's say okay. The reason that this hits hard is that there's this guy Corey Ames that Tim actually had on his podcast, and I go out on Facebook, and the guy's in there calling me controlled opposition. Yep. And I'm like, why the hell is this guy attacking me? What is he trying to get my attention? And all these people are sitting there liking it, going, yeah, you know. Now they're having this discussion. But so how do I defend that? How do you prove that you're not controlled? He's not doing anything except for just slandering me. That's it. And so you think I'm going to go work with you? And he's not saying, hey, I'm attacking this guy so he comes and works with me. I'm going, what is his motivation? Is he trying to get me to reach out and say, hey, buddy, thanks for making people now question what I'm doing, but maybe we could work together. Like, how does someone actually think that that's going to work? It has to be people that don't understand how human beings actually work. I would never just make a statement like that without, and then he doesn't offer proof. He doesn't say anything, but then you start going down, you start reading the comments, and he goes, he doesn't share my material enough. That's why I'm controlled opposition. His response to people asking is that I don't post his shit enough. So he's going to go and lie to the public. Wow. And I look at that and I go, I will never work with that motherfucker. I don't trust him. He is a liar. He is a liar. He's a manipulator, and he's going on there trying to manipulate people to not work with me because I won't post his stuff. I look at him, I go, strategically, you are net negative. I will never work with someone like that because you're just going to do it to try to control my behavior and manipulate me. That's what the left does. And I'm very strategic when I look at people.
Now I got to paint this all in the fact that I believe that we 2 weeks ago, we had before Charlie Kirk time and got after Charlie Kirk time. And the clock, the world, everything reset. At least it did for me. Okay. You guys, I don't know. But I think a bunch of people sense something, and that what that is, all right, I'm moving at the speed of light now in comparison to where I was 2 weeks ago. Okay. And when I'm pressing online in this world and things are moving so fast and that I don't get responses to things, okay, my gut is to poke harder, to press harder and say, this person is trying to avoid me. I'm just saying, just giving.
Don't lie, don't deceive, and don't manipulate. Don't lie, don't deceive, don't manipulate, because everyone sees through it.
Yes, and that goes without saying. If I did that, and like I said, apparently I did, it was an honest mistake. I mean, there's not a deceptive bone in my body. I mean, of course, I want to paint things a certain way. I understand that the world is a theater, and that, you know, the way it looks. And so that's the reason that I'm listening to this. And also in my heart, I'm convicted. I don't really believe the guy is I don't have the evidence that he is a fraud. Okay. That he's committed fraud. I don't know that. What I think is that I am reacting to is this sense of, you're not what's coming across on this screen. And I want a chance to talk to you and interact with you physically and to get to know you. And when people don't want a part of that process, I'm like, hey, I think I'm representing a few people here in the grassroots. And so that's all where it just came from, is my frustration in the fact that, hey, I want to be involved. And And I feel like iced out of the political process, to tell you the truth. I got to a place, and I want to tell this to the GOP, is I have been saying for months,
But
that
you did.
I wanted to work with
You had a lot of people that wanted to work.
Well, where the heck were they before 2 weeks ago when finally I lost my patience? I mean, they had months. When
you reposted that thing attacking Chuck Ellis is pretty connected, even though his podcast is extremely small and no one really watches it. But he's well connected. And when you posted that thing attacking his wife and saying that it was something about like using her as an immigrant or something like that. I don't remember the exact details. You turned him into an enemy, and he went and shut doors for you all across the board. So, and the thing is, he attacked my wife. Tim made himself an enemy. If you create enemies,
Chuck would never look at me, Richard. Chuck would never have embraced me. Chuck, his milquetoast, weak-kneed, would have sat there and tolerated me until he finally got to a point and went, "That's it." He was looking for a reason to slam all the doors on me. Okay.
But you gave him the reason.
Well, okay, but it would make no difference. I would have still been standing on the front door with him standing in the way going, "You're not coming in my house," instead of me looking at the door knocker now. And I know it's time to move on down the road.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that as you move forward, every time you create, if you can have someone that you're like, you know what, this person's never going to work with me. They're never going to help me. But if you turn someone into an enemy, all it does is like you're trudging forward, and then
Here's the thing: I don't also believe they're going to be an enemy forever. I believe things happen. I believe daily God's mercies are new every single day. And tomorrow I might do something and walk into someplace and somebody might say, "You know what? I didn't think much of you before, but now that I saw that or I heard that come out of your head, man, something's different." Okay. I believe in a God that changes hearts. I believe that today is today and tomorrow is tomorrow. And tomorrow people don't want to touch me like because I'm nuclear waste.
But if someone went online,
it might be different because tomorrow,
what would you do?
Things are happening.
If someone came online and just started like mocking your wife, Jen, online and posting stuff, and you're like, "What the hell, man?" What would cause you to go back to them and say, "You know what? I know you attacked my wife publicly and said I was a liar and that I was a fraud and I'm not an actual Christian." What would make you go back to that person and not be their enemy?
A lot of things.
Like if you just saw that they're doing really good.
A lot of things, Richard. And this is where you might not understand it. But this is where you might misunderstand from a Christian perspective because you're not technically a Christian, you're a cultural Christian. Okay, where I have my sworn Savior, Jesus Christ, that he paid for my sins, and I'm filled with the Holy Spirit, and people might not understand. People will look at me at times when I do things and say things that will say he's a lunatic. I do not understand the motivation for what he's doing and why he's doing it. And I'm doing it because it makes sense to me.
Would it be like an apology? Like if someone attacked Jen or like Michael G. Hine, what would it take?
You would do it.
So
sure.
Michael, you would work with Michael G. Hine again if he apologized for all this stuff.
No. I made a mistake with Bobby Charles. To compare me doing what Mike Hine has done to me, they're not. That's a classification error. They're two category errors. That's another category. That guy's an operative. Okay.
I do.
Operative. I just happen to be a loudmouth and I spouted something off. Maybe I shouldn't have. It is the internet. You know, people do sometimes post shit and go, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have posted that." You know, it's like that kind of stuff to me, that's not unforgivable. But if you go on a campaign against me for a year, now you got a lot more to make up. I'm not quite sure I'm going to probably forgive you. But even Michael G. Hine, had he come here.
What about Chuck? Chuck was almost in tears when he was leaving, so I didn't get I haven't even talked to him actually about this. I know, but he was literally, his eyes were swelling up, and he goes, Tim's attacking my wife now online. And he's
to me, write me, be a man. Okay, what I forwarded was not racist. Somebody said because of the Democrat political machine, Chuck has taken advantage of a free wife. Okay, I don't even think of race or color came up. So this is to call it a racist. And then he said, let me
text you a new link, okay?
I said I didn't. I forward Stanley. Okay, and
I don't think it's the same one. I think I sent you the other one.
It's racist.
Anyway, I'm finished. Okay.
If you have an issue about it, come on with Stanley. and debate it on my show because we need to talk about racism.
Wait, no. So you would want him to come on your show and debate that he got a free wife? Like, do you understand how ridiculous this sounds? You make this assertion that he got a free wife using a system by pretty much getting a free immigrant wife. He's supposed to go on your podcast and defend and simultaneously.
I don't even
that's weird.
No. What I'm telling him was the point is I value discussion. If you don't like it, then talk to Stanley about it.
No.
If you want to talk to me about why I forwarded it, then come on my show.
Why did you forward it?
There was a woman standing right there with a camera filming by her side. And I looked at her and I'm like,
that was after you posted the stuff about his wife. But why did you attack? But then you can't get upset that Chuck is now your enemy and will shut doors on you, right? Like, because that makes sense. Like, you go after him publicly, you attack him and say that he's getting a free immigrant wife and abusing a system.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. Am I opining that he should still want to work with me now? No. I mean, now I still think he's weak in character. Okay,
but that's
going to hurt his feelings.
But that has no. But that's obfuscating and moving away from the fact that you went after his wife publicly.
I did not.
Well, that'd be like if I went online and I saw someone post something and said something about Morgan. Man, that would strike a fucking chord with me, especially if it's someone on my own side. And then they're mocking or making fun of. Oh man, you trust me. You want to get to me? You want me to become your motherfucking enemy?
It wasn't about his wife.
You post about my. Yes, it was.
No,
you said that he got a free immigrant wife by abusing the Democrat system.
It was about Chuck,
dude.
It was about Chuck and Chuck's character and his comp Stanley. And I'm not going to defend.
You struck a chord with me. You struck a chord with me because my wife matters so much to me that if someone went online,
my wife matters to me too.
But do you understand how you create enemies who will go out there and attack you and actually shut doors all across the board for you? Like, why would you say something? Why would you post something about Chuck's wife? He doesn't. That's a sensitive subject to him, but he doesn't get to see her. Yeah, and the immigration. I don't care what you say about him and his, like criticizing his podcast, his actions, all this stuff. But to pull his wife into it is one step too far. And I am giving you the criticism of why people are moving away from you. That's it. I'm not moving away from you. These things don't bother me, and I can trudge through it. I'm just giving you the criticisms of why people are walking away from you.
Okay.
Thank you.
But I'm not wrong, right?
No.
People are just closing the doors, going, nope to Tim, nope to Tim. If you don't adhere to Tim, the iron fist of Tim will come down, and I will slander you. I will attack you. I'll call you a fraud.
That's not what I want to be. That's not what I want to be. But again, okay, I will say that it's a war. Okay, it's a war.
If you don't,
listen to me for a second.
Yep.
I'm swinging this damned sword,
hammer, the
best I can. Okay, the best I can, and I've done a lot of good with it. And every now and again, I hit a damn thing that isn't a nail. Maybe I should have grabbed the screwdriver. Yeah. Okay, I'm guilty of that, but I would much rather be guilty of doing what I'm doing and have to go back and make a public apology, which I'm going to do, like I said, when we get off, and you know what? I'm doing it, and I don't even feel sick to my stomach about it. You brought this up, and this is what I want for people to do. You called me out. I went, wow, you know what? I get it. I understand what you're saying to me, and I'm going to go make it right. And beyond that, that's it. I'm not going to give it another thought because I got more stuff to do. I'm going to go out there and keep swinging, and I'm not going to worry about yesterday's mistakes. And if people accept my repentance, then they do. And if they don't, then those are people that I literally don't want in my life. Literally do not want in my life. Not from a perspective of the internet. Not personally.
So now you see how our agenda is now crisscrossed. This is where the conflict goes, right? And this is a good discussion, by the way. I'm not mad at you. I actually love these type of discussions. My agenda is to awaken as many people as possible to fight this battle, right? So I'm trying to get all these individuals. While doing this, you've awakened and you've gone out, but now you're taking down all the people that have awakened. You're swinging and hitting people, taking out people from our own side. And so, Chuck isn't as bold, and there is a lot of flaws with him. But if you're going to start swinging at people that we're trying to elevate on our side, my goal is to try to create an army of people so we can face this. And what from our perspective is, if you don't adhere to Tim's will, I'm going to punch you online. I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm going to talk about your wife online. I'm going to call you a fraud with no actual objective reasoning behind it. And then I expect you to follow me, because if you don't follow me, you don't listen to me, you don't come on my podcast, I'm going to go after your wife and your wife. Or I'll go.
See, when somebody calls me a fraud, you know what I do?
No.
Okay, I defend myself usually, unless I find, because I did that for a while. I was swinging against trolls and bots.
Yeah,
okay, a while back, 6 months ago, right? But still, when somebody comes out of the woodwork and says something against me, okay, and listen. What I forwarded was tame, dude, compared to some of the stuff that's coming against me that people are saying online. Okay, if I feel necessary, I just simply defend myself and say, "Broad, really? Well, let's talk about that." And I talk about that 3 or 4 times until they go away, till I crush the argument. That's just me. It's the way I'm wired, right? I don't throw dog shit on people's shoes and walk away just because they say something I don't like.
Both of you guys, I got to move to another live stream. But listen. Both of you guys have gone up like a lot in my esteem because of this conversation, which is live streamed to the internet. Anybody can watch it. It's going to be archived. And you guys have never asked me to post produce anything or edit anything. And
Nope.
as I've gotten to know you over a year, and this is critically, I mean, I lived, Richard, your point, to your point, I lived it at the religious level, okay? As the spokesman for the Christian Civic League of Maine for 20 years, I lived this trying to be perfect and not attack personally while I was making political statements on that whole debate, which was very personal and very emotional because it was made that way by the left. They weaponized that whole thing. And then they were somehow, it was probably Anon accounts that were being spun up or whatever. They managed to get the wonderful Christian folks in these little evangelical churches in all of Maine fighting amongst themselves over my tone and style, even though I wore a suit and I blow dried my hair and I sounded like a philosopher and I never used the F-bomb and I was the perfection of grace and mercy, which is demanded of our Christian leadership. But look where it's gotten us. Look where we are. We are in big trouble. And you said that. If we lose next year, it's over.
The stakes
You're right.
are high. The stakes are high. And listen, what I'm actually excited to finish my point when I was talking to you, Richard, is I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. I am actually excited to go write this post, this simple post, and mea culpa, lay down flat on my face and say, I was wrong. Okay?
I have no
see what happens when people see an actual Christian witness, because Christians are sinners too. Okay? It's just my tether is tied to the light side instead of the dark side. But sometimes, I may err, miss the mark.
And I expect the same to come towards me. If I follow my own sword with something, you better come at me as hard as I came at you. I expect it to go both ways. So if I'm fucking up, you better come at me and tell me. That's the only way. I know you all. I know. That's why. Trust me. This conversation.
But you still trust me. You know that I'm
100%.
You know,
100%. No, that's why I'm attacking you so hard, because you don't actually believe that. I know that's why, because I know that you don't feel this way about people, that you're frustrated that they won't listen to you and that they kind of fire the first shots unfairly and you're reacting to it. But sometimes you go with a heavier hit. It's like someone punches you and you punch them back 100 times harder. That's you're allowed to do 10, but not 100. You try to decimate the person.
I got you. All right.
Yeah. This has been great, guys. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
And I pray that this helps. Maine, every Maine citizen, right, left, center. Maine's our home. Come on, Maine's our home.
Most guys don't have these debates or discussions anymore. We need this type of stuff, right? Like Tim and I literally just had the first. Like people need that pull, because you get away from it, you're stronger. Because the left doesn't do this.
Well, Christianity. I was always taught within Christianity that iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. That's what
Maine Polemic Society. Maine Polemic Society.
And Tim called me out for being a cultural Christian, and that is something I have to deal with, because a lot of people, I get doors shut because of that, right? I know I do. they'll ask me. So I'll be working with some people, and they'll go, "I just let you know, are you a Christian?" And I said, "Well, no." And then boom, some people just close the door. It is an issue.
I
right?
won't hold it against you, Richard.
No, but it does close doors for me too. I've seen it happen multiple times.
Oh yeah. Well, all right. Thank you. So this has been MSH Live. Michael Stewart Heath Live. Thank you, Richard Coffron, and at True Slinger X. Thanks, guys. God bless you.